Hello my dear children, welcome to the today's CBSE class. Dear children, in the last class we have started to discuss about our fifth chapter that it is called plants. Okay. So dear students, I hope you understood about what are plants, what are the importance of plants and kinds of plants in the last class. So what we have discussed about the kinds of plants in the last class, that is the importance of plants. Importance of plants. We have discussed about the importance of plants, isn't it? So plants are the very important part of our life because they are making us life in a very comfortable way. They are giving a fresh air called oxygen. Oxygen is very important for our life. So it is very important for the respiration process. As we inhale the oxygen, that inhaling oxygen is produced by the plants. So they are got the many importance in our life, and we are also discussed about the kinds of plants. Kinds of plants, isn't it? We have discussed also about the kinds of plants. So there are the varieties of plants we have discussed, isn't it? So let us recall the kinds of plants that we have discussed in the last session. Okay, which are the kinds of plants that we have discussed? We have discussed about the kinds of plants are trees. Okay, next shrubs. Okay, next herbs. Okay, and next climbers and creepers. So this much of these kinds of plants that we have discussed in our last session. Trees are very big, okay, and they are having a thick stem. They are having a trunk. Trunk means a thick brown color woody stem called trunk. So these are very strong. They live for thousands of years or many years. Okay. And shrubs means as compared to the trees, they have a little stem, or it is not so woody. It is somewhat mediate stems is there, and they have a bushy nature, and the bases, usually the branches are grow from the base, and they live for few years, not for many years, few years. And herbs means they have a very weak stem, okay, and they have grown for only one season, okay, it is called herbs. And climbers, since they have a weak stem, they can't grow for themselves. They always need the support. They always need the support to grow. Example is money plant. Creepers means since they are having a weak stem and a big fruit, they can't grow upstraight. So that's why they creep on the ground. Example is pumpkin, watermelon. Examples for trees are neem tree, banyan tree, mango tree. Okay, and shrubs means hibiscus plants. Okay, bamboo, all the shrubs. Herbs means mint. Okay, mint is the best example for the herbs. And climbers, grapevine, money plant, creepers, watermelon. Okay, and pumpkin are the examples for the creepers. So like this, we have discussed about the many kinds of plants in our last session. In our today's session, let us discuss about our next topic. Okay. So, in the today's session, let us discuss about our next topic, that is plants and climate. Plants and climate. So, dear students, we know that varieties of plants are growing around us, isn't it? Okay. So, there are the varieties of plants are growing. So for growing plants, climate is very important. Okay, we are seeing the varieties. There are the various plants are there. Various kinds of plants. Okay, so various kinds of plants are available. So these various plants are not found in all kinds of regions due to the climate. So the climate, or it is also called weather, which includes the rainfall, temperature, soil. So these factors influence the growing of plants. So all the plants cannot grow in all kind of regions since the temperature, soil, okay, temperature, soil, weather. Weather means it is either may be a rainfall. So So these factors are very useful and very important for growing the plants. So the climate is very important for growing the plants. It is given in your textbook only. Plants need the sunlight, air, water, soil to grow. So what does the plant need to grow? So what does the plants need to grow? Plants need sunlight. Plants need sunlight, air, water to grow. Okay, what does the plants need to grow? Plants need sunlight, air, water to grow. So these are the very important factors for growing the plants. So the plants need sunlight, air, water to grow. So these plants are found everywhere. They grow on mountains or in the seabeds, in the deserts also, and many other places. All plants cannot grow in all places. They need a right kind of soil. A climate includes the weather conditions to grow. As I said before itself, so the plants are growing in varieties of regions, which is including the deserts, seabeds, mountains, like this. So the plants are growing in varieties of regions, but all the kinds, for example, the plants which are growing in the mountain regions cannot grow in desert. The plants which are growing in desert cannot grow in seabeds. Okay, why means the climate. Why means climate. Climate is very important. Weather conditions, which includes the temperature, rainfall, a kind of soil, is very important for growing the plants. Understood? I'll repeat once again. So the plants need the water, sunlight, air to grow. So for growing of plants, which is very important, so the sunlight. ನಮಗೆ ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗ್ರೋ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು, ಬೆಳಕು ಬೇಕು. ನೋಡಿ, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ದ ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ದ ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್, ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ದ ಏರ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೋ. So there are the varieties of plants found everywhere. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ varieties of plants ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ so they are found in certain regions. For example, if they are growing in desert, so they are found in the desert only. So such plants can't grow in our area because they are adjusted to such an environment. Okay, like that, for growing plants, their environment, their climate, their weather conditions is very, very important to growing for the crops or plants. Understood? So like this, the climate plays a very important role in growing the plants. Now let us study the one by one point regarding the how much the climate influences the growing the crops. How does it influences the growth of plants? How the climate, weather, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್, ರೈನ್ಫಾಲ್, ಸನ್ಲೈಟ್ ಯಾಗಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಫಾರ್ ಗ್ರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಆರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್. So let us discuss the important points regarding the influence of climate on growing the plants. Okay children, let's see the important points now. Okay, look at that. So there are given that some plants like hyacinth, lotus, duckweed can survive only in water. Such plants are called aquatic plants. See, there are some plants are there which can grow only in water. Okay, such plants are referred as aquatic plants. So the plants which are growing in water are called aquatic plants. Examples here. Okay, what are aquatic plants? Aquatic plants means the plants which are growing in water. So the plants which are growing in water are said to be the aquatic plants. Example, hyacinth, duckweed, lotus. Okay, lotus, duckweed, okay, hyacinth. These are some of the examples for the plants which are growing in the water. Understood? As I told you before, plants can found everywhere, which includes the desert, mountains, okay, and marshy regions. So there are the varieties of regions the plant can able to grow, but all the plants cannot grow in all the regions due to their climate. So what are aquatic plants? Aquatic plants means the plants which are growing in the water. They are called as the aquatic plants. Understood, children? So what are the examples for the aquatic plants? Lotus, duckweed and hyacinth. So these are the examples for the aquatic plants. Okay. So next let us study about the one more point. Okay, let's see. Plants like cactus, date palm can live in very short and dry climate with very little rainfall. They are in desert plants. See, dear children, so you know that desert having a less rainfall. The rainfall is very rare in kind of desert, usually Rajasthan. Okay, there the rainfall is very less. Okay, due to the less rainfall, only some kind of plants are able to grow there. Okay, due to the presence of less rainfall, so they can resist the plant growth. So what kind of plant can grow in such a regions means date palm, cactus. Okay, cactus, date palms are the kinds of plants which are growing in the cactus diagram is given in your textbook. You can observe that. Okay, and there you can observe that there is a less rainfall. Okay, what kind of climate is there in deserts? What kind of climate is it? Dry climate. Okay. So in desert, dry climate and less rainfall. And less rainfall is there. What kind of plants are growing in this? Date palms. Okay, date palms, then cactus. Cactus. Okay, Papa's Kali anta kelidiralva. So these kind of plants are growing in the desert region since they have very hot and dry climate. Okay, so climate and it is very hot also. It is very hot in the desert. It is very hot and dry climate is there. There is a less rainfall, and here what kind of plants we can grow? So date palms and cactus are the plants. They can live since they are having a less rainfall. They are the desert plants. So if the question is asked, name the desert plants. Desert plants ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ question ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಏನು ಬರಬೇಕು? Date palms and cactus. Date palms and cactus are the examples for the what? Desert plants. I'll repeat once again. So desert plants. So in the desert, there is a hot and dry climate is there and less rainfall is there. During this climate, there are the types of plants which are growing in desert climates are date palms and cactus. So this is about the desert plants. Okay, next. Fir, willow and spur grow on the mountains and they are very cold condition. Okay, in mountains. Okay, in mountains. So in mountains means what? It is a very cold conditions. Cold condition. Okay, so it is a very cold condition is there. So what kind of plants can go there? Fir, willow and spruce are the plants which are growing in these kind of regions. It is very cold climate. Okay. Willow and spruce. What is that? Spur. So, okay, these are the kinds of plants which are growing in the mountain regions. In the mountain regions, it is very cold climate is there. It is very cold and cold. In such regions, the kinds of plants are growing in such regions are willow, okay, and spruce. Okay, so these are the kinds of plants which are growing in such a region. Understood? So let us see about the next one. The plants like teak and mahogany grow well in places which remain hot and wet throughout the year. So there are some kinds of plants which can grow throughout the year. Teakwood. Do you heard about the teakwood? So teakwood use. It's a very expensive one. Okay. So such a teakwood and mahogany grow well in places which remain hot and wet throughout the year. So the plants which can grow in hot and wet weather throughout the year. Okay. Example teak and mahogany. Okay na? Teak and moho. Okay. Teak and mahogany. Mahogany and teaks are the kinds of plants which are growing in where? They are growing in the hot, both hot and as well as a wet condition. Throughout the year they can able to grow. Okay. So this is about the climate of plants. Okay. So in your textbook, so these are questions are given and fact answers is also given. Okay. Banana plant is the largest herb on the earth. So the largest herb yavadu banana plant. And one more information is given that the world's softest and lightest wood is balsa. It is used for building the rafts and aircrafts models. Wow. So very good information is given, right? So you have to read this. And Saina wants to know these questions are given in your textbook. In the page number 27, you have to complete this. Children, go through this video once again and learn the important points that we have learned in the today's session. Okay. So I will recall the points that we have learned in today's session one by one. So in the today's session, we have learned about we have recalled about the kinds of plants and we know about the plants and its climate. Okay, plants and this climate we have discussed, and we have discussed about the aquatic plants, desert plants, aquatic plants, desert plants. Okay, and we have discussed about the mountain plants, and lastly we have discussed about the hot and wet weather plants. Okay, so this much we have discussed in our today's session. I hope you have understood the today's session very well. In our next session, I will meet up with one more topic. So keep on watching the video, dear children. Okay, watch the video once or twice and understand the all topics well. Thanks for watching the class, dear children. I will come up with the next class with one more